right, call to order Rankin City Council, Monday, February the 12th. Roll call. Mr. Scott.
Here.
Ms. Underwood.
Here.
Mr. Exley.
Here.
Mr. Blackwell.
Here.
Ms. Taylor.
Here.
Ms. Riley.
Here.
Ms. Underwood, would you lead us in our invocation of pledge?
I certainly will. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, dear Lord, for all the many blessings that we are able to enjoy as Americans, dear Lord, and here within the city of Rankin. And dear Lord, I just ask if you would to be present here tonight, to guide and direct us. Give us wisdom, dear Lord, but in all things let us show grace, just as you showed us grace, dear Lord. And dear Lord, we just ask that you be with this body that represents our city, be with our city, keep us safe. And dear Lord, we just ask if you would to protect our police and our fire and our first responders, dear Lord, and not just to protect them, but to protect their families as they serve us, dear Lord. We just ask all these things in your most precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll ask for a motion to approve our agenda for this evening.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Taylor, a second by Mr. Exley to approve the agenda as presented. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Next is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of January the 22nd, 2024. Ms. King, on those meeting minutes, I had, if you will, on page 8, on the approval of the January 8th minutes, I had Mr. Scott abstain on that vote. Then on page 9, it's just I guess maybe a clarification, so to speak, on that. Item 5, the appointment of the representative, that I think more correctly should read Effingham County Library Board. And then someone might help me here if I have it wrong. On the page 10, the item 6A, the record indicates Ms. Underwood made the motion and Ms. Taylor had made the second, but I had it reversed. I don't know if I may have had that wrong. Did anyone have anything on that?
You said you had who first, Mayor?
I had Ms. Taylor making the motion and Ms. Underwood the second. That's, and I may be wrong on that. I don't know if someone has anything different.
And that was 6A. Okay.
And then if you'll drop down to the last paragraph on the issue concerning the right, it says turn, that should be right lane only for trucks. And then the page 11, these were the items that were just not included in the minutes. But on the motion to return to meeting, I had Ms. Riley making the motion, Mr. Exley making the second, and the unanimous approval. And then the meeting motions to adjourn, I had Mr. Blackwell making the motion, Ms. Underwood making the second, and unanimous approval, as you might expect.
You said it was Blackwell and who?
Ms. Underwood.
Okay. Thank you.
Did anyone have anything else on the meeting minutes? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve those minutes with the noted changes. Make a motion. That'll be second or something.
Yes, that'll be second.
A motion by Mr. Blackwell, second by Ms. Underwood to approve the council minutes of the meeting of January 22nd, 2024 with the noted corrections and changes. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yeah. Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Okay, and before we get into our business items on our agenda, I'd like to ask Ms. Terry Lewis first. And I think she'd like to do some introductions, and so Ms. Lewis, you would?
Yes, I am happy to introduce council and the public to our very first full-time code enforcement officer for the city of Rincon. This is Mr. Devin Frails. He comes to us from Savannah, although he lives in Rincon. Has a lot of experience, really impressed us during his interview. Hit the ground running today. We have a long list and we're gonna keep him busy.
All right. Good luck, guys.
Welcome aboard.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to ask our police chief to come forward. I think he has some recognitions and some presentations.
Before we do that, can I ask whoever's parked at the gate to move to a different parking spot to the gate back here? We've got, sorry, I know. I got two of my own duty guys parked in the back and they're blocked in, so if they get a call, they can't go.
I guess it's me, might be her.
There's two.
Two? Yeah, it's me.
Recess?
There,
You can go ahead.
Merle, who's parked over there? There was no parking spots for us over there.
All the family and everybody that's here. Just support.
Oh, there's no place for us to park.
Usually we got plenty, but we've got a bunch of people here.
And they here for good reason.
Yeah. Y'all wanna wait for them to get back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see Don Mail out.
It's not me, it's the Toyota. It's the gray Toyota.
Is anybody driving a gray Toyota parked at the gate back here? I need you to move it, please.
I'm parked behind the Ready? Wait, don't bring her. She should be. I found her spot. She should be in soon. Y'all see, you want to snap pictures? So, Mayor and Council, I'm going to read to you the first letter of recognition and promotion, and the rest of them are pretty similar.
I'll hit the high notes on the rest of them for the sake of time. First one says, Lieutenant Thompson, during your 12 years of service to the city of Rankin, you've demonstrated your abilities to supervise personnel, manage patrol, and you've always led by example. As a result of your leadership skills and abilities, you're being promoted to the rank of captain. With this new rank, you will continue your duties as the patrol commander of the Rankin Police Department. You will continue to lead our officers with the rank you've earned. Congratulations, Captain Thompson, on your success and your promotion. This promotion takes effect immediately, and I wish you continued success in your career here at the Rankin Police Department. It says General Order, Daniel Thompson is promoted to the rank of captain and will adorn the rank designation illustrated below. Congratulations. Absolutely. You want to lay those down? Yeah. Lieutenant Thompson's been with us for a long time, and he and I have been through the ringer together. And I can rest easy at home, vacation, on my conferences, or whatever the case may be, and know that he can run the show here without a hiccup, without hesitation. So he's going to help me present the rest of these. I'll let you. Some of these are not able to be here tonight also. Officer Ian Gallagher, K-9 handler, he's being promoted to the rank of corporal. He's in training in Alabama right now.
Caller stated that she couldn't tell what color or what kind of truck sitting with the lights off on the end of her driveway. 215 Oakwood Court.
Sure.
Lieutenant Chadwick, please come up here.
I was gonna do it.
Mayor, Council, this is Detective Chadwick. I believe all of you have met him. During his continued assignment to criminal investigation divisions, he's going to furthermore hold the rank of corporal of CID.
You
You want me to hold that?
Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate it. Almost.
The next one is Detective Jessica Ron. Detective Jessica Ron has served when we hired her. She started out on patrol. She's since taken over a position in CID. She's doing an amazing job. Thank you for your work. Detective Ron is being promoted to the rank of corporal also. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All of these are an effort to build our rank structure the way that it should be. And we're definitely getting to where it should be. We have a rank structure built within CID and a rank structure built within K-9 after this is complete.
Haven't seen it.
I'll wait on that one for that. So I thought he was going. No, they're out of hand. All right, Officer Heinko is not able to be here either. He has taken over a shift supervisor's position. He's being promoted from the rank of officer to corporal as well to lead that shift. He's been with us for 2.5 years, and when he came to us, he had about 8 years in with the Effingham Sheriff's Office. He's doing a great job also. This is the promotion that came from last year. He's filling a vacancy from last year in that supervisory role. Let me lose Zach's. Corporal came to us about 2 years ago, but has a whole lot more time in law enforcement than I do. What, are you knocking on 30? 30 years of experience. He does a great job. He's supervising a shift also. And Corporal Etzel, congratulations on sergeant.
Thanks, sir.
What you do last?
This one's one of my close friends. Matthew, come on up here.
Fix this here.
I told him this is what it takes to get him on his hair. Mayor and council, this is one of our go-to guys here. He's helping us build the department the way we want it. Even if it's behind the scenes, he's definitely there with me. During his 6 years of service to the city of Rankin, he's demonstrated the ability to supervise personnel, manage a shift, take on tasks others may not be willing to do, and I can't emphasize that enough. As a result of his leadership and skills and abilities, he's been promoted to the rank of sergeant. With this new rank, please continue your duties as patrol supervisor for the police department. Continue to lead our officers with the rank that you have earned. Congratulations, Sergeant Estes, on your success and promotion. Takes effect. How many years? 22 years, Mayor and Council. 22 years of law enforcement.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The last one also is not able to be here tonight. He is out of town, but Officer Zachary Brooks is being promoted to the rank of corporal also. He will be the second tier of supervision on his shift.
Awesome.
Did I miss one? Chapman. I lied to you, wasn't the last one.
It's like,
Officer Chapman. Officer Chapman has got about a total of 9 years experience.
coming up on that.
Coming up on 9. He is also taking on the secondary tier of supervision on his shift at the rank of corporal, so congratulations. Thank you, congratulations. Let's double check.
And Gallagher. Should have Heiko, Zach, Gallagher.
That's yours.
That's us.
Okay.
You need to take all those?
Yes, you're fine. Let's do one, we'll do one picture of all of us. Sure. All the promotions, y'all come on back up one more time.
Chad was with that.
You lost Chadwick?
It went probably to his office.
I'm behind now.
Hey, bro, you probably want to get them in the picture.
That's why I'm kind of trying to spread out.
Tell them.
Y'all want to come down and join us? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Mayor, council, y'all want to come up here and join us? I was trying to get them in the back, but I got you, correct.
Let's fill it up.
Well, is there enough room?
We'll make it. We'll make it.
Might as well stretch your legs.
Yeah, you went around.
I tried.
You stand there. Chip.
I'll be in the back.
You want to get in?
Oh, listen, no, y'all stay up here. No, I'm gonna look around.
Oh, you need to
And I
know
knew this
that.
girl before she went to the police academy.
Y'all got it? We're all in here?
I think so.
Yep. Last little bit of history, and I'm gonna be super short, because I know everybody's trying to get on with the show. When I started with Rankin in 2010, our second in command was a sergeant. So we're kind of making history, definitely making history here. Our second in command now is a captain, closer to what it should be. So,
Yeah, that's
well,
good.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
I go to Dollar General.
We have a couple more recognitions we'd like to do, and, but before we do that, every opportunity we get, we certainly want to show our law enforcement our appreciation for what we do every day. So, let's one more time, for those that were recognized here tonight and all of our officers, let's give them a hand. Got a couple of recognitions. The first one is a service award. We have one of our department heads who has just completed 20 years of service. That individual would be Mr. Tim Bowles.
A little over 20.
Congratulations.
Should have given him a golf club.
I'll tell you what, Tim has more institutional knowledge about this city than probably anybody here. When we don't have Tim anymore, we're losing our encyclopedia. 'Cause he knows all about it. This next recognition is for one of our council members. For those of you who don't know, all of the duties of the council, many things that council members do, giving of their time and so forth, a lot of times the public doesn't know how much time they spend in doing the things that we do for this city. But a lot of that involves training, continual training. We go to a lot of sessions, a lot of training, certificates that we are awarded for various levels, all of it to help us do our jobs better. And those who are devoted to this city and want to do a better job, they do a lot of this. And so we have one of our council members who has achieved a level of certification. This is all through the Georgia Municipal Association and the Carl Vinson Institute with the University of Georgia, who conducts all the training for the municipal officials. And so this certificate is for Mr. Jesse, as we know him, Ben Blackwell. And this is his certificate of achievement. There are various levels that you can achieve depending on the number of, they classify it as hours, the classes that you take. You have a certain number of hours that you achieve, and it brings you to a certain level of achievement in your certification process. So we're real proud of Mr. Blackwell, and I know he's going to continue down that road, so.
Yes.
Gonna catch up with you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, that's the fun part. Now we gotta get down to business, so. All right, as we move on, if you are here tonight to speak in regards to a particular item on our agenda, you're certainly welcome to do that at the appropriate time when that item comes up. you will be offered the opportunity to come forward to the podium, state your name, and certainly make whatever comments you have in regards to the agenda item. With that now, we'll move on into our public hearings, and I'm going to turn it over to our public hearing officer, Mr. Ben Perkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Lewis, has this been, never been advertised, this rezoning application?
It has.
Okay, I'm sorry. This item is a public hearing on a petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of the Bank of Newington requesting a zoning map amendment for a 0.39 acres parcel located at 111 Lewis Drive to amend the zoning from GC General Commercial to OC Office and Commercial. This property is owned by the Bank of Newington, parcel 0465J003A00. Mr. Gahagan, are you? So there you are, okay.
I'm Spencer Dice. I'm here for Mr. Gohagan today. I'm an associate of his. And of course, we are position 1 and 2, the second parcel. I believe everyone is familiar with this property. And of course, the rezoning request is because there is a issue with the encroachment setback. One part of the property will violate the 10-foot setback required for standard commercial. So that is why we are asking for this rezoning. Of course, it's already been annexed and zoned commercial. So we're just asking for redesignation for that one position of the proposed property where it does violate the 10-foot setback.
And as you mentioned, you're also here on the second item. So the second item is a public hearing on the petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of the Bank of Newington requesting a zoning map amendment for a 0.63 acre parcel located at 5919 South Highway 21 to also rezone from GC to OC. And is that the other property you're referring to?
Yes, sir. These properties were initially 2 residential properties. The Bank of Newington bought and had annexed into the city. That will be, the proposal is to have a bank built there. And so both properties will be utilized for that bank's construction.
And do you have any, and I noticed that you're actually zoning to a, what would be a less intensive zoning classification, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And, okay, do you have any further comments for in support of this application, of these applications?
We just asked that it be approved. Like I said, I know there'll be a second reading in 2 weeks and Mr. Gohagan will be here, but if there are any questions, that's kind of what I'm here for. The county doesn't have this office standard, so got it to commercial, got it annexed, and now we're just taking the last step so we can get it built and start doing business here in Rincon.
Is there anybody else present want to speak in favor of the applications for the rezoning in advance, right?
Yes, I'd like to say something. I just want to find out. I'm Malcolm Smith. I live at 123 Lewis Drive, right behind both of these properties. My property is right beside it. Just want to find out, this will have no effect on my property, will it? As far as the setback or anything, is it, what does that mean as far as the setback?
So the setback is a requirement under the current coding that it has to be that far off of the roadway.
Oh, okay.
So parking lot, curvature, anything like that in one part of the proposed parking area will be within 10 feet.
And those 2 pieces of property will be in the city, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm still in the county.
Yes.
That's why I'm gonna make sure. All right, because, well, never mind.
So this, I mean,
Hopefully,
it does,
it might happen with mine.
it is somewhat backwards, but it's already in the city. It's just changing the
Right.
classification. There's
Okay,
already
that's
annexation.
what I want to make sure. Thank you.
Council members, mayor, anyone have any questions?
Does anybody else want to speak in favor of this application rezoning of these 2 parcels of land? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Okay. I will call the hearing to close on these 2 items then.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll now move into new business, item 1. Mr. Jerry Manatee, am I pronouncing that correctly? Request to appear before council.
I don't think he's here. I don't know that he's here, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I believe, maybe Mr. Lynn, you can tell us a little bit about I don't know that we need to do anything. I think he was just presenting information. Is that right?
Yes, sir. He's just seeking support and just, not asking anything, just providing information. So we'll see if we can get him on the next agenda or soon after, because it's a great thing. He wants to provide information.
Good. Okay. All right, moving to item 2, new business, is a vote on the first reading on a petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of the Bank of Newington, requesting a rezoning for a .39 acre parcel located at 111 Lewis Drive to amend the zoning from general commercial to office commercial. Property is owned by the Bank of Newington, parcel number 0465J003A00. Mr. Lynn?
Yes, sir. This is what we just, this and the next item are just what we had the public hearings on, and I know that the applicant left. And Ms. Lewis can correct me if I'm wrong, just so that everybody's clear. They knew that this was going to happen as they were going through the annexation process, but had they stopped and done it again, they would have had to start the entire annexation process again. So they wanted that to be completed to come back, that there's no malfeasance on their part in getting this through to you guys.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Exley, a second by Mr. Scott to approve first reading on petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of Bank of Newington, requesting a rezoning for a .39 acre parcel located at 111 Lewis Drive from general commercial to office commercial. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a vote on the first reading on a petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of the Bank of Newington, requesting a rezoning for a .63 acre parcel located at 5919 South Highway 21 to amend the zoning from general commercial to office commercial. The property is owned by Bank of Newington, parcel number 0465J001A00. Mr. Lynn, same applies to this.
Yes, sir, it does.
Any other information needed from council?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Riley, a second by Mr. Exley to approve first reading on a petition filed by H.E. Shepherd on behalf of the Bank of Newington, requesting a rezoning for a .63 acre parcel located at 5919 Highway 21 to amend the zoning from general commercial to office commercial. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a vote on an application filed by CAHEC Properties Corporation requesting site plan approval to construct a new 1,649 square foot community building. Property is located at 401 Lisa Street and is owned by Fair Oaks Lane Limited Partnership and is zoned R11 Apartments, parcel number R2570045. Someone here representing that, if you would please, sir?
Sure.
Come tell us about your request.
Chris Hutchins with KHEC Properties Corporation. We have managed that property since 1996. It came in. What we are doing is renovating the existing property through Georgia Department of Community Affairs. With that, we wanted to add a community building for the residents as one does not exist currently, so that they could have a place to go and congregate, also have community outreach programs. It should be able to house 100 people in there with the square footage that we have. It has a covered area with it, with picnic tables for them to sit inside or outside for tenant meetings if needed, but have a computer center with scanners, printers, kitchen, double oven, so that food could be served throughout any kind of gatherings. No cost to the resident, just part of the community.
Wow.
And so that will only be available to those residents?
That is correct. It is to the residents. They can bring family members with them if they were going to perform something there, but it is not leased out. We don't lease it out. We don't charge them to do anything in there. It is a community center.
How will it be secured and managed as far as the usage of it, the security of it, that kind of thing?
We'll have a surveillance system throughout the property. We're upgrading now throughout. We're adding additional lighting throughout as well to make sure that everything is well lit. It's 2 blocks from this building right here. So I don't know how much closer we could get to the security for that. The residents have been very excited with any meetings that we have had through this process. One of their biggest concerns was they did want surveillance cameras on site just to make sure that no one else was coming through and to have what's on there. If need be, if anything arose, then further could be added through the management company.
Is there an on-site manager?
There is.
Okay.
Currently, it's 44 units, 5 buildings, 8 3-bedrooms, 4 1-bedrooms, the rest 2 bedrooms, 3 there.
I was looking at the overall drawing. You got an entrance off of Fort Howard and an entrance off of Lisa Street.
Yes.
Where were the construction vehicles? I know they got to pour concrete and move brick and all that into place.
Yes,
Where they be entering and exiting, or will you have a temporary entrance for that?
They'll come in, we're gonna have to build a sidewalk to go to access to there, so they'll come on and not disturb the actual area where they would come through and be on the back entrance and go around outside of where the initial buildings are. So it should not block
So
anything.
there's
They
not-
can be stored on site and not hinder any entrance or egress.
To the current building?
Correct.
Because it looks like from your drawings, it's going to be immediately behind the building closest to the water tower, I guess is the way
That's
to
right.
put it.
It will be.
So they-
Everything will be stored behind there, so it will not block that entrance. So when they come on,
But they'll be accessing that site via Fort Howard Road to Lisa Street and then onto the property?
Mainly Lisa Street? I guess?
mainly Lisa Street, yes, not on Fort Howard. I know that's highly congested,
Yeah, because it's an S loop through there, yeah.
yes.
As long as they don't block those residents, I guess that's the best way to go.
We don't want that.
Ms. Lewis, would you give us your thoughts and the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board, please?
Sure, so we found after doing the site analysis and the staff report that it met all of the requirements of the code. The discussion that Planning and Zoning Board had was related to capacity, would it be free, and was it part of the original plan? And they voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
Council have any other questions for this gentleman or for staff?
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Exley, second by Mr. Blackwell to approve the application filed by KHEC. Is that the way you
Yes, sir.
pronounce your company?
Yes, sir.
Properties Corporation requesting site plan approval to construct a new 1,649 square foot community building. Property is located at 401 Lisa Street. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Good luck with that. I know the residents will be happy about that. So.
Thank y'all so much.
Item number 5 is a vote on an application filed by SWP Lincoln LLC requesting site plan approval to construct a new 4,500 square foot freestanding Sherwin-Williams retail store. Property is located at 311 South Columbia Avenue and is owned by Whaler Holdings LLC and is zoned general commercial. Parcel number R2120008. Someone here representing that request.
I'm one of the buyers of the property to build the Sherwin-Williams store, which we're excited about. It's such a good growth area, good town, next to the Zaxby's on South Columbia. And I know we haven't gone in for architectural, but I've kind of got a picture of the building if anybody's interested in looking at it. I'll pass it around. I'm here to answer any questions.
What is your name?
My name is Art Brannon. My partner, Rob Beecham, was here for the last meeting.
Council have any questions for Mr. Brown? Ms. Lewis, recommendations?
So staff recommends approval on this one as well, after reviewing it against the code, found that it meets all of the requirements. Planning and zoning board, their questions and comments were related to the trips. Would the site be lit? Yes, and then just that entrance, how that functions with Zaxby's.
They'll be utilizing the same entrance?
Right. It'll be the same, there will be, still the same sign that says no left turn. I know people sometimes do that, but they do have an access easement to use that entrance there. And they voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
It says here on, you got a detention pond, is it at the very back of the property?
It is.
Yes.
So it looks like it goes from one side to the other within the setback limits. Is that gonna be big enough for that? Because most of the rest of the property is gonna be paved.
It is, it was reviewed by our engineer and they found that it met the requirements.
Any other questions from council? If not, a motion would be in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Riley, a second by Ms. Underwood to approve application filed by SWP Rankin LLC requesting site plan approval to construct a new 4,500 square foot freestanding Sherwin-Williams retail store. Property is located at 311 South Columbia Avenue. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Axel?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
But, Mr. Brown, I have one request. If I give you a picture of my wife, could you post it and not let her in there? She comes with all these color cards and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell her you can't help her. Please.
Thank you.
Item number 6, Savannah River Utilities request approval of pay request number 3, final retainage in the amount of $42,810 for the Public Works paving project, line item number 320, 4100, 541214.
Mayor and Council, as it states in the heading, it's the final retainage for that front part of that parking lot at the shop. It's a budgeted item and it's completed.
Satisfied with the job?
Very,
Good.
Just already in the budget.
yes.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion by Ms. Riley, a second by Ms. Taylor to approve Savannah River Utilities pay request number 3, being final retainage in the amount of $42,810 for the Public Works paving project. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Item 10. Item number 7, new business, request approval to contract with Coastal Regional Commission for $18,000 for assistance in updating Rankin Comprehensive Plan. Funds from line item number 100, 7400, 5212, Ms. Lewis?
Good evening. So as Mayor and Council, as you know, we're required to update our comprehensive plan this year. In the past, we've been part of Effingham counties, but Rankin will have their own this year. It is required to be adopted by October 31st, 2024, which is why we're getting started now. So we will have a public hearing at your meeting on the 26th per state requirements to just kind of introduce the project to the public. And we're going to start to pull together a stakeholder committee and have other meetings. The Coastal Regional Commission won't be drafting the whole thing for us. As you could see in the contract that I included, they're going to be helping us with portions, including facilitating some of those stakeholder meetings, pulling figures and maps and gathering census data.
It's already in the budget?
It is in the budget.
Do you happen to know what they charged us the last time? And they may have been more heavily involved in the last one.
I don't. Okay.
Ms. Lewis, who is going to be the representative, the client, besides the city? You?
Yes, I'll be the point of contact,
And
yes.
so how many members are going to be on this stakeholder committee?
They recommended between 8 and 12.
So it'd be the citizens of Lincoln and maybe one of us, or what? I mean,
Typically, yes, the citizens of Lincoln kind of getting a broad grouping, so some business owners, some residents, you may have some that are both, a representative from council and a representative from planning and zoning board. It's what they recommend.
Make a motion, we approve.
second.
I have a motion by Ms. Taylor, a second by Mr. Blackwell to approve contract with the Coastal Regional Commission for $18,000 for assistance in updating Lincoln Comprehensive Plan. Any other question or discussion?
Can we add more council members if we need to? Terry?
I'm sure, I don't think that number is set in stone, it's what they recommend.
I think the way we did it in the past, anybody that really could come or wanted to come, they're certainly welcome to be there. We just need to be cautious about a quorum and that kind of thing.
Yes.
But certainly, council members will be welcome at any of those meetings. We might need to coordinate with each other as far as who may or may not be there. Any other questions? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Axel?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Item number 8, request approval to purchase 10 Sig Sauer M400 patrol rifles with optics from Gulf States Distributors in the amount of $11,240, line item number 100, 3200, 541107.
Mayor and council, if you remember last year, we bought, I think it was 11 last year also, trying to phase them in, but obviously 11's not enough to go around the whole department. We need one in each officer's hand. This is the next phase of it. Next year, we should be needing about 5 or 6 more, and we'll have everybody outfitted with one. This was a budgeted item, and same make model that we bought last year. Same price too, no increase.
Make a motion to approve.
Chief, they'll secure these here in the Armory, here in the police department?
No, they're in their patrol car.
Vehicle, I know, but I didn't know.
Well, the ones that don't immediately get issued, yes, we have our armory, they're secure in
They're
there.
secure.
Yes.
Have a motion by Ms. Riley, a second by Mr. Exley to approve purchase of 10 Sig Sauer M400 patrol rifles with optics from Gulf States Distributors in the amount of $11,240. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 9, request approval for a 2-session motivational and educational seminar in the amount of $6,695, line item number 100, 3200, 542528.
So as all of you know, we kind of had, as a department, had a rough year last year for several different reasons. Some of it's still ongoing, but this is kind of along the lines of police resiliency training, which is being pushed heavily throughout the state for law enforcement. Suicides are up, and definitely don't ever want to have to deal with anything like that. The first speaker that I really wanted to get here, Mr. Lynn's aware of this. I contacted him. He was $20,000 and booked up through a portion of 2026. Now Sergeant Estes found this guy. He's out of Florida. He's got 38 years, 36 or 38 years in law enforcement. Had several dark times in his career, and that's kind of what his speech is about, how he had rough times too, and he succeeded, and it's urged for couples to attend. My goal is to open this up kind of regionally based on the venue that we will have a max number, but I want to open it to neighboring agencies, every agency in the county to attend, and not to make money, but to kind of take some of the sting off, my thought is, and I'm open to suggestion on this, I was first at $20 a head. Just show up that way. If an agency doesn't, maybe if it's a small agency, they didn't budget for it and they don't want to pay for an officer to attend, they can pay out of their pocket if they want to. That's kind of why I'm wanting to keep the price low. I kind of thought about it a little more, and I think 40 might be a little more reasonable, but it's to take the sting off of us as a city, paying $6,600 for training and opening it up to the outside instead of everybody taking advantage of it for free. We'll take some of the sting off of ourselves.
Well, I think it's very necessary. I mean, you guys see some horrific things, and I'm all for stuff like this.
This also, and thank you, this also is not solely for law enforcement, it's public safety. So I'm hoping some of those guys will want to attend.
So the presentation, that person will come here?
Yes, sir.
To Effingham or Rankin?
We're looking at 2 different locations, 2 different venues. We've not spoke with either one of them yet, but I know it's not going to be a problem. 2 churches here in the city.
So it'd be like one day and then the next day, or?
He does, that's what the 2 session thing is. It's the same class repeated the second day, but it's for the people that couldn't make it on the first day for scheduling.
Shift work.
Right. It's designed to work around that.
See, if I know a lot has changed since budget and stuff for the state, but they don't offer anything like that to Forsyth.
They do. It's very hard to get in, and they only offer 2-3 times a year. And police resiliency is being pushed so hard now that you've got people from all over the state getting in. It fills up like that.
And we have to go there, I would assume, to Atlanta, so the cost would be high.
Forsyth.
Yeah, no, I've used it for the county, but it takes a while. You probably have to get on that year before.
And this is, in my opinion, it's better because it's not the basic, what the state is teaching. It's coming from a guy that's been in the trenches and seen the hard stuff and made it through, kind of telling his story about how he made it.
It indicates 50 books. Does that mean the class is going to be limited to 50 people, or is that? And I'm asking that for a reason. I'll go on to explain further.
I don't know about the 50 books. I probably need to talk to him about that.
Okay. And the reason I ask that, listen, this council has always been very careful with our money.
Sure.
But if there's ever been a need to spend the money for anything of value, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, I for one, if we can get, and you might want to prioritize the county, the other 2 cities in Effingham County.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would even ask anybody to pay. I mean, that may be a little extreme, but I think it's that important.
I agree
This
with
would
you.
be money well spent for anybody in this county. So you might want to prioritize, I say that, and if this council agrees, that's fine. If we don't, we want to have a minimal amount that they pay, we can do that too. But I would kind of prioritize who would be asked first, and that would be the people in this county.
Sure.
And then beyond that, if you have other opportunities, then maybe we could go beyond.
And we were able to find the money in the budget, so recouping that money is not the priority. And Chief and I have talked about that. It's great if we can, but we're not out anything if we do have it.
Well, I hate to see $20 or $40 stand in the way of somebody getting this help.
Well, and then I think you maybe just ask for a donation from the other cities or the counties.
Right, true.
Just see if you can get a donation, because they may have that in their budget, in a line item that they can use.
Or even the businesses in this city.
And that could pay for refreshments or whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe they will reciprocate when they have something like this.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So that sounds great.
I think it's a great way to build a good relationship between all the departments countywide.
Yeah.
Chief, I recommend doing this in the years to come.
This is something I want to build
Building
on.
this into your budget for the following,
This is something I want to build
from
on.
now on. Yeah.
And as well as a couple of our guys,
Right.
this hits really close to home for some of them, and they want to push it forward also.
Right.
Work out the details with Mr. Lynn as far as what arrangements we want to make for the others that might want to come outside of our department. Y'all work it out. I mean, but I'd like to be able to see us reach out as far as we can with this.
Cool. Good.
You can state your name.
I recently
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I just, as a military veteran as well, I can reflect on what they go through. I do know that we do have a golf course, and I think a good idea would be something for the police or like a suicide prevention golf tournament to raise funds at our golf course for the police. I think that could help cut some of that as well.
Can you state your name, sir?
I'm sorry, Josh, my name is Josh Gracia.
Great, that's
So
a good idea.
I just
Good idea.
bring the community together. I mean, I would be more than happy to give back to our law enforcement for that.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of military and a lot of those types of people in this area, I think would be a part of that as well.
Yeah, that's.
So, like, let's utilize what we have in our community for our community.
Yeah, and if we can get a donation and get people behind it, you're right, it probably needs to be like a seminar, and we have it annually.
Correct.
If it works out great, you just figure out how to build it in the budget and do it annually.
So.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. All right, does council need any other information or have any other input?
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Eckley, a second by Mr. Blackwell to approve a two-session motivational and educational seminar for our police department in the amount of $6,695. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 10, request approval to purchase level 3 rifle plates and carriers from Dana Safety Supply Incorporated in the amount of $18,580. Line item number 320, 3200, 54, 25, 28.
Mayor and council, bringing up Sergeant Estes again, y'all heard me say earlier during his letter that I read, and that our Captain Thompson read it, about him being willing to take on task and others don't. Well, he spearheaded an effort for our GEMA grant, and we got awarded the grant money. But it is a reimbursement, it's 100% reimbursement.
Yes.
This equipment falls under that grant, so we're proposing to purchase out of SPLOST and then refund SPLOST once we get the payment back. These would be deployed in the more serious scenarios that hopefully we'll never have. But it's a much heavier duty ballistic vest that they can throw on top of whatever they're wearing, to stop rifle rounds and things like that. That we don't have any of that right now.
Is that a 7.62 round?
Yes, sir.
308 or bigger?
Yeah.
And you have-
That's great.
You have grant money that's gonna come and cover this cost.
Right, so we have to front it and then it gets reimbursed.
And that's a way you can use SPLOST, because in the general fund, the revenue wouldn't go back to the police department expenses, but in SPLOST, we'll put it right back into their line item, in a separate account.
I love I'm sorry. I love the fact that y'all are going after grants. That is just awesome. So keep it up.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll also, before there will be more of these items coming that the grant covers. It was 73,000 and some change.
Yeah, and there's probably 16 or 17 line items in there that they can purchase.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So there's more coming, just so you know.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Estes went after all that.
You did.
Sure did. That's great.
All right, have a motion by Ms. Riley, a second by Mr. Exley to approve purchase of level 3 rifle plates and carriers from Dana Safety Supply Incorporated in the amount of $18,580. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 11 is
Thank you.
Thank you.
vote to appoint a new member to the Planning and Zoning Board. I believe we have a recommendation. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, per the email that I sent to Mayor and Council last week, we're filling our very last position on last vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Board, and we received 3 applications. I did phone and in-person interviews with all 3, and my recommendation is for Mr. Jimmy Bowen to be appointed to that last vacancy.
Most of you probably all know Mr. Bowen. He's been a business operator in the city for a number of years.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Taylor, a second by Ms. Riley to appoint Mr. Jimmy Bowen as a member of the Rankin Planning and Zoning Board. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reeves. Item number 12 is approve the GGI LLC to grade and pave 2 ADA parking spots at Patriots Park Playground in the amount of $8,975. Who's got this one?
I got this one, Mr. Mayor. The item before you, it is to create 2, I'll call them van accessible, your maximum size ADA parking spots. If you're looking at the new playground at Patriots Park to the right, where children can access the inclusive playground area, so to speak. GGI LLC will create the spots, they'll put them in, they'll concrete them and get them ready. The only thing they don't do is the striping. Tim Bowles, we've got our nice spray painter, his line painter that he'll be able to use, and he'll get in there, stripe them. We do want to go ahead, and this will be paid for out of SPLOST. We had a Patriots Park line item in SPLOST, but once we get that, I know there's some other things that we want to take care of at the park. At that point, we're at a point we can open the park. We're still going to implement the fencing around it and look at paving options in the long run. But getting these spots in will allow somebody to get there, and we can open it, and it is open for everyone at that point. And we can schedule a ribbon cutting ceremony once we get these in. My understanding, and the contractor's here tonight, if you have any questions, it'll take roughly about a week from when they start in the next couple of days to get them ready, get them cured, get them painted, and then we'll be ready to go.
So are they going to start shortly? I mean,
we can ask Mr. Gracia. He is GGI LLC.
I am with GGI LLC. My name is Josh Gracia. As soon as we get the approval, we should be able to get it done by this week. Have everything poured. And now just to correct what it will not be paved, it will be cement, it will be concreted. So those spots will last way longer than a pavement would, so.
okay.
Awesome, thank you.
And does this come with the sidewalk that gets over to it?
It does not. This is just for the park.
Just the 2.
This is just for the parking spots, yes, sir. We'll have to work on the sidewalk as
Has the exact location been identified? I mean,
So it has, only because, if you're, like I said, if you're looking at the playground, the ramp is over on the right, so those spots will connect with that ramp.
With the ramp?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now I did notice the ramp is damaged from previous construction out there. So we will be replacing that as well. So that's just automatically with that. That needs to be fixed, and I can go over that with you tomorrow and show you where it's
So
at.
from the parking pads that you will build, the ramp, they'll be able to roll a wheelchair.
They're gonna be able to roll a wheelchair right there within all ADA requirements. And I did attach all the requirements on with him as well, so.
And they have that in their packet. Yes,
Was
sir.
there a reason why we didn't go ahead and add the sidewalk while we're pouring the concrete? Just throwing that out there?
We can. It's just,
Okay.
we absolutely can look at doing that and get a price from that while we're
Yeah,
there.
because I mean, that's, while you're out there pouring it, you've only got that strip from the tennis courts there.
Do we have an actual drawing of what that should look like completed in that area?
No, ma'am. The only drawing I have seen that was done previously had a soccer field in that area. I know EMC is working on some updated drawings that will put a building over in the corner and actually lay out some parking, but they have not finalized that yet, from my understanding. So.
And the fencing to go around the playground. That's something.
I've asked Ms. Loper, you'll hear from her, to start looking at pricing to get that barrier fence essentially between the benches, picnic table, and where the parking area would be. So you can't just drive up to the playground. That's correct.
Yeah. I think they're pouring it while you got them out there, you really had to pour that sidewalk if we can. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. Then that's done, people can park out and then walk up on the sidewalk if need be.
Because I think the last thing you're gonna want is a lot of cars pulling in and out of that field, because you're gonna have a muck hole before long.
Yeah, so that would give them the park down by the tennis courts and walk up, because there is parking available there.
And my question is around the merry-go-round piece of equipment. You said the park could be set to open. Have we addressed that issue?
Yes, they have pulled that out and replaced it with the same kind of material that's on the ground. They have,
So there's no,
you can't tell it was ever there at this point, but we're gonna select other things to put in its place that they will put there, so.
Oh, good.
I've picked out, there's some musical instruments with the same price that are gonna be replaced with that actual, so they're ADA usable as well.
Yeah, and one last question. There was on the slide, if you're standing looking to the left at the slide, there was a chain or something that should be there, I guess, missing, where you come up and it's almost like you could just fall off before you.
It's essentially one of the,
That'll be here within the next 2 weeks.
yeah. and-
Okay, so
and there's one other little piece, sorry.
And we can't open until that chain's up, right?
It's secure the way that it is, it can be opened as it is.
Okay.
And I've been in email exchanges with the company and it should be due in anytime and they're coming out here to fix that and install that.
Perfect, perfect.
And I know Shannon's coming in behind this, but we've heard 2 weeks a lot.
And that's why she probably gets an email every day.
And so my other question is, did they ever get a letter telling them that we would take legal action if they didn't finish it?
We did not give them that letter, only because they came out and did what was needed to be done. The only items that are left are those little punch list items. They're not those little items, the big items that would have safety. There's no more exposed railings, every piece of equipment, kid can't, well, I mean, I guess a kid could fall off, but there's always a piece of equipment there, whether it's a slide, a rock wall, your chains, that's all been installed.
That exchange item that she's talking about, that you're talking about, Ms. Loper, is that like an exchange for the merry-go-round itself? So we're using that money actually?
Yeah, it is not gonna be a charge, that's correct.
Correct.
Right, and we haven't given them the final payment.
That is correct as well.
Yeah, I suggest we wait just as long as it took them to do this part before they get their payment.
We owe them approximately $160,000.
Well, they must be doing quite well because they're not wanting it very badly.
Did you get somebody to inspect that thing like I told you?
What's that?
That part,
Yeah, we had the building official go out with us and look at everything.
look at every nut and bolt?
Yep.
Well, some of them were stripped and some of them were broke.
Really? Did they look at those, Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, Council, just, I guess, going further, since we're gonna talk about the sidewalks, for me, how do you want me to incorporate that? Do you want me to, because that's gonna be additional onto the quote now?
Just
We're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
We'll get a number.
Change.
All right, yes, sir.
Come back if we need to.
All right, awesome.
We can approve this amount to go ahead and start the work, and then
Yes, ma'am.
hopefully your sidewalk comes in at an amount that, well, we're gonna.
Yes, yes.
If, and I know we got a motion on the table, Ms. Taylor, but to address that, we may want to make this motion to a number larger than 8975, and we could do it. I hate to say this because I don't want you to go to that number, but get a number that'll cover whatever I need.
Leave my phone and walk out.
It's still on Facebook.
So that we don't have to come back.
Josh, I never got did a job like that.
We could add some, make it a maximum amount up to.
We can, yes, sir. And maybe if you wanted to word it this way, if this is amenable, any additional up to the spending limit of the city manager. And anything else, anything above that would need to come back to you guys.
Perfect.
You amend your motion, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, I
To that?
make a motion to include Jonathan's.
I second.
Up to, yep. Perfect.
And then, so if we see you and Mr. Garcia out at Ruth Chris.
I know, that's valid.
We got something to that.
That's a problem.
Mr. I took a better steak at my house, so I
All right, so we have a motion by Ms. Taylor, a second by Ms. Riley to approve GEI LLC to grade and pave 2 ADA parking spots at Patriot Park Playground, plus additional sidewalk, in an amount to, up to the spending limit of the city manager. Any questions or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley? Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 13, appoint City of Rankin representative to the Board of Effingham County Industrial Development Authority. And we have some recommendations.
You want to do it?
I can do it, yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
The recommendation before you all, after, I know there's been some discussion, is to appoint Ms. Tricia Boyette to the, as the Rankin representative to the Effingham County Industrial Development Authority. I did forward you all Ms. Boyette's resume this morning, and she is here, and she does serve on our planning and zoning board and is very willing to have a second appointment representing the city of Rankin. And I believe she is here if you have any questions for her.
I'm willing to make that motion right now.
And I'll second it right now. And seriously though, I think Brandy got a chance to meet Trish at Effingham Day, and I've met her, and I think she's gonna be a great addition to the team here at the City of Rankin.
Thank you for being willing to serve on both accounts, Trish. Thank you.
Just do one thing for me, and I appreciate you stepping into this role. Please keep us informed, because the past members have not, and we just want to hear what's going on. You can.
So, how should that look? I just have that question, right, while we're sitting here talking before Ms. Boyette steps down. How does that look with them coming and keeping us informed?
So
is there a set?
Ideally, what we would want to put in place, and Terry and I have talked about this previously, is almost getting quarterly updates from the planning board, from your rep on the library board, from your IDA rep, and one meeting a month you get a couple of updates. Limit them to 5 minutes. Like give you a heads up. They're just very simple. Keep you informed, keep you in the know.
Yes.
Periodic emails if you need them. Unlike the planning and zoning board, this is the one person from the city that goes to these types of meetings. So you are going to be dependent on them for the updates. Whereas planning board, as staff, we can tell you what's going on. So I think that if you guys are okay with that, we do as staff, we would like to implement that and ask your reps on the library board, hospital board, IDA to come and give you those quarterly updates.
That's perfect.
Yes. In the past, they've had executives, and that was one of our biggest problems when they made executive decisions. They restricted them to come to us.
I know that.
And even though we make it public, we do need to allow them the opportunity to have some of this information in executive session here. So, and that's our biggest problem. We need to know what kind of infrastructure needs to be put in place with anything coming in this county or around this city to keep us abreast and on top.
Can I speak to that just a little bit? I think we've gotten a chance to get to know Brent Herndon really well at the last 2 events, the GMA event and at Effingham Day. And Brent is really interested in serving the community with the IDA. He's interested in being more diverse in economic development. And I think Trish addressed that with me, that we need more things than warehouses. I tell people that's all we do during election cycle is warehouses and 21 traffic. If Trish wants to speak to that, but I think Grant would work with us to come to executive session. Do you not agree with that?
Yes, ma'am. And economic development projects are one of those few items that you can discuss behind closed doors. So say if Ms. Boyette came and that update involved something like that, she absolutely could present that to you. Her and Brant could present that to you in executive session.
And kind of what's being talked about, Trish, is that in years past, leadership within the Industrial Development Authority, and I understand it to a point, I served on that, I was the vice chairman of that authority as well, but you have to be very careful about what you disclose in the public, and so they have to be very careful. But this leadership, I think, is a little more open to sharing within reason. I know they can't share everything, but anyway, that's kind of the discussion. That's what's been in the past. But I think this council would just like to be more informed instead of being surprised as we have been sometimes in the past about what's going on, because we're a partner in it too. Even if it's not within our boundaries, it affects us. And so we just, this council looks for a little more sharing of information, and so we're better prepared for what the IDA is doing. So that's just a little history lesson on our experiences with the IDA in the last many years. So.
I just want to say good evening to Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And this is exactly why I came tonight, to get feedback from you in this position. This will be the first time that I'll be serving on this IDA board. I have a unique opportunity because I was on the other side of it in my previous career in the staff position and have been trained in economic development. I understand the confidentiality in certain aspects, but I also understand it's very important for each and every member of this governing body, but also staff, to be included on major decisions. So I am here tonight just to say, I would love it if I could reach out to each and every one of you, have a conversation with you, kind of get, just like tonight, giving me your past experiences in dealing with the IDA and the Rican representation, so that I can be more informed in that role, and then look forward to providing updates minimum quarterly. But I think, there's monthly board meetings, so if there's something going on, I think it's very important, and I would be more than willing to give even monthly updates to you as well, so that I can bring back your, information to the board and represent Rankin and all of the residents here, business community, and the city as well. So looking forward to it. And I will give all of you my personal cell phone. Please call me anytime. I will make sure I get all of your contact information too, because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And so we can have the best interest of Rankin moving forward.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Exley, a second by Ms. Underwood to approve the appointment of Ms. Tricia Boyette as the City of Rankin representative on the IDA board. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Item number 14, new business, is adopt City of Rankin policies and procedure documents with criminal background checks with the Rankin Recreation Department. Mr. Lynn, you got this one?
Yes, sir, I'll handle this one. I'll ask Ms. Loper to come up and, in case she's got anything to add to this, as she kind of came in and I don't want to say blessed it, but she definitely took a look at what we had developed previously. You guys know that we talked about this ad nauseum for several months as to how this looked. We've got Ben and Bobo involved to looking at this, got the chief back involved, and so what you have in front of you guys is what we would like to move forward with in terms of that background check policy that we've been struggling with, because as you know, right now, the only thing in writing that disqualifies you from being a coach is a felony.
Is a felony.
Period. That's the only thing that disqualifies you right now.
Did we model this after anything in particular, or is it some of, a little bit?
Douglasville was the one we kind of modeled it after originally, then Ms. Loper came in and she put some of her experience into that, and so we, just the real big highlights, the police department is in charge of running all the background checks through GCIC. An applicant is welcome to submit any other background check that they would like to the police department for consideration. No, but that is not in lieu of that GCIC report. If there are any issues or anything that needs to be discussed, there's a 3-person committee for that. It will be Ms. Loper, Chief Morrell, and Tiffany Herbert from HR. Those 3 will talk about it. Should an applicant want to appeal their decision, it goes to the city manager. They have to do it within 30 days, and the decision of the city manager is final at that point. Going forward, and then the list of the stuff is pretty standard as to what the violations are. And council did look at that over here. So with that, that's it. That's really it in a nutshell. We definitely want to make sure everybody has it. I'll let Ms. Loper now chime in. She's standing there. So.
Well, it's just something, I took, like he said, what he had, something that I've used and just kind of incorporated it together. But it just makes it easier for us. It's black and white. There's, no questions asked, it's there. As he said, sometimes mistakes are made with background checks, but then they can go and appeal that and we can address it at the time. But I have, in my 2 weeks, I have had some people that have reached out. Some that, it's been 20 years, but they were told in the past they couldn't, for simple things that people make mistakes in their lives. They should be back, if they want to help out in the community.
Ms.
Will it be
Loper?
effective immediately upon approval tonight?
Yes, sir, it would.
Ms. Loper, is this some, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Dave.
just wanted to ask her. Is this similar to what you had in Beaufort
It is.
County? So you basically did everything that we're doing now, and it was effective?
Yeah, it was.
Perfect.
I think the only thing I had a problem with was the, all felony offenses other than violence or sex within the past 10 years. And the examples were drug offenses and criminal attempts at murder. We scratched that criminal attempts at murder.
Criminal attempts.
Were you gonna call it attempted murder?
That's what it sounds like.
Well, that's what, I think that's what it is.
That's what it is.
I think that, Chief, you wanna help
They
me out
just
here?
failed, they had all intentions, but they failed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gun didn't fire.
People are charged with attempted murder all the time, and it's not successful.
I think what Ms. Mullen is trying to say is scratch that off of, that should be the no-go altogether.
Yeah.
We shouldn't.
Let's just leave the murder out of that part.
10, that should just be a permanent.
So the attempted murder should be
Right,
in
and
place
let's,
with the
y'all
child
can,
charges.
because we trust Merle. If y'all decide want to bring something different, but
Well, so I think what we could do, if it's okay with you guys, we can scratch it under, because you could, I guess, try to kill somebody 11 years ago according to this and come back. But
Yeah, that's not.
under all felony violence, we could put, under examples, murder, attempted or otherwise,
There
or
you
something
go.
like that.
That's right.
And just put it there, if that's
That's
okay with you guys. So is that good with you?
Okay, I'll make a motion we approve everybody.
With that amendment.
With that amendment.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Taylor, second by Mr. Exley, to approve the adoption of the City of Rankin's policies and procedures document for criminal background checks with the Rankin Recreation Department, with the noted change regarding the criminal murder charge. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Item number 15, Savannah River Utilities request approval of final payment for the back parking lot at the Public Workshop, line number 320-4100, 541214, in the amount of $10,875.
Mr. Mayor, Council, that's the back part of the parking lot. We did not utilize EMC on the back part because it was nothing but pouring concrete. We didn't need to pay their inspection fees and they got through it real quick and it turned out real nice.
Is it in the budget?
It's in the budget.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Riley, second by Mr. Exley, to approve Savannah River Utilities final payment for the back parking lot at the Public Workshop in the amount of $10,875. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
Item number 16, request approval and signature of estrapels and drainage easement termination for Georgia International Rail.
Well, we can let Mr. Bennett and Mr. Perkins go through this one. The big words, estoppels and stuff, I think they can kind of put that out there for you guys.
You want me to try it? Okay. Mayor and Council, you have before you 3 documents for approval, and one of them needs to be replaced. It's in your packet. The most colorful one in there, if you've seen it, it's got a bunch of red and blue and green lines on it. So this is the CS cold storage one. Sorry. So I think the first document to talk about probably is the termination of the drainage easement, which is in your packet. It's very straightforward. That is a termination of an easement that the city had when the city had a town of Rinkin dump at the location specified there, which we no longer have. And so, since we don't have that, there's no need for us to have a drainage easement flowing out of that piece of land. And so that's the first one that I would recommend approval. This all relates to the Georgia Rail Park. And so the other two documents that are before you is an estoppel agreement, and that document basically is a document that you provide lenders to give lenders, like literally banks, you give that to them to basically give them the assurances they want to greenlight a project, or at least greenlight funding of a project. And so you have the estoppel certificate for Cold Summit in your packet, and that document basically provides those assurances to the lender, specifically that the development agreement that is attached to the estoppel is accurate, is the correct copy of that. I've verified that, Mr. Lynn has verified that, so we know that's accurate. We also state that we acknowledge and consent to the assignment that, it's called Greenland, but the original owners of that piece of property, they're assigning part of that piece of property to Cold Summit. And so we're basically saying, and the way the development agreement is written is essentially, they want us to at least acknowledge any kind of stuff that happens. So that's what that one's doing. The next is that there's no defaults, which we're aware of under the development agreement. Mr. Lynn and I both discussed that. We're not aware of any defaults that have occurred. We also make a representation, which this was all lawyered up because they messed with me, but it says that they don't have any liability to the city for any obligations other than those obligations that they assume, which is about the stupidest thing I've had to write.
It's not our
land lawyers make their money, and it's not his lawyer. I wouldn't say it was his lawyer. Land lawyers make their money, so they do shit like that, and I have to agree to it.
You said it.
Sorry, it's just, it annoys me so much when I have to deal with stuff like that. But anyway, then the next one is all fees that are due and payable have been paid. We verified that as well. We also stated we're not aware of any liens. And then we also acknowledge the payment of the 100% of the reservation fee that was made by Greenland, so that there are no more reservations due and payable. Again, that agreement couldn't be more clear on that, but they still wanted us to say that. And then we also provide the estoppel based on representation. We know that the estoppel is not going to result in an increase in the number of ERUs included with the project, because this project, the development agreement, we specify 30,000 ERUs in there, and so basically we're saying y'all have not told us that that's going to increase at all as a result of this assignment that I added in there, and if that's a false representation, the estoppel is void and withdrawn. So that is what that is. Mr. Bennett, do you have anything to add to that one?
No, I'd probably add a little more color. Sorry, Brett Bennett, Greenland Developers. As you probably all recall, that entire property was subject to a development agreement that was approved years ago. As each segment, for instance, a project comes along, their funding mechanism wants assurances that Greenland has not defaulted on any of the obligation we made to the city in that development agreement. Their concern would be, and it's a pretty significant concern before they spend that kind of money on a project, that their building permits and such are not going to be held up because Greenland didn't do something we were supposed to do. That's the best way I would summarize what the estoppel is.
And I think too, right now, because there's only one other building out there, if there's 7 or 8 buildings, I think it becomes a little more critical to review that. But right now, there's nothing, they haven't gotten far enough along in that part to really have defaulted on me at this point. Not saying they would, but they have not.
So you say give them a little bit more time?
Yeah, let's let them earn it.
And Mr. Bennett, I just noticed, we've got the Cold Summit estoppel, we've got the termination of the drainage easement. Those are the two things we definitely need to get done today, but I don't see in the packet included the file with
The Crow one, the terminal Crow one, we can do that one next time.
next month, next week.
That's fine. That's not as urgent at this point.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Could you make your motion to approve one at a time, so the drainage easement first and then
The
get that?
drainage easement first and then the other?
Yes, sir.
The next time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Back to back.
Okay. Second, the same?
And that was drainage easement first.
Correct.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Exley, a second by Mr. Scott to approve the signature of the Stoffels.
The drainage easement, sir.
Oh, just, okay, so we're
Just the
not.
drainage.
So he needs
We're
a
breaking it down
second.
to two motions.
There's two motions that it's being broken down into.
All right, the improvement of the drainage easement termination for Georgia International Rail. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Underwood?
Yes,
Ms. Underwood, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
All right, now I need a motion for the approval and signature of the estoppels.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Riley, second by Mr. Blackwell to approve the signatures of the estoppels for termination for Georgia International Rail Park. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. All right, next, item number 17 is the appointment of the City of Rankin representative to the board of the, and Dulcie, I'm going to ask here to maybe just make it more appropriate, the title here. And I think that should read Effingham Health Systems Advisory Board.
Oh, yeah. Health systems.
Can I speak with that? Mr.
Oh, hang on, Ms. Underwood, really quickly. We may want to ask Mr. Blackwell to.
Yeah, I gotta recruit.
He's gotta
Yeah.
Whatever, however you
That
say
word,
it.
yes, sir.
I never can say it right.
Doesn't have to leave, right?
Get out.
There's no money, so he doesn't need to step down, I don't think.
Yeah, just- I just-
No, you're good, there's no money. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to nominate, after speaking to her and spending the weekend, several weekends with Karen Blackwell in her retirement. She's excited to serve our city, and she has a medical background, and she is accepted if we will nominate her. The council will approve that. So I nominate Miss Karen Blackwell.
I second that nomination.
So you want a motion? And bring it to second.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Underwood, a second by Ms. Riley to appoint Ms. Karen Blackwell as the City of Rankin representative to the board of the Effingham Health Systems Advisory Board. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
While we're on that subject too, if I could just mention, because we do need to make another appointment, which I have someone I'd like to reach out to and that I think may be a good representative that has expressed some interest. We still need to fill the position of a representative from the city on the Effingham Board of Health.
That's correct.
And so I have someone, and I hope maybe at our next meeting, I'll be able to provide that information. We can make that appointment. I think we're getting to a point where we're just about filled all of our vacant board positions, so that's a good thing. But I'll pass that along to everybody as soon as we have.
Nice.
Item number 18 is approved intergovernmental agreement between the City of Rankin and Effingham County for the purposes of acceptance of advanced T-SPOS proceeds from the county bond assurance. And this, Mr. Glenn can go into more detail, but this was just the agreement between us and the county to borrow the $60 million ahead of the T-Splost. And Mr. Lynn, do you want to go into a little bit more detail?
Yes, sir. And I'll ask Mr. Perkins to kind of jump in here with me. What you have before you is an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement with Effingham County. So what the county is looking at doing, and they're asking the cities, it's voluntary for us to participate, is the county, by statute, you're allowed to bond out half of what your anticipated revenues are for special taxes. T-Splost is that tax. For the 5-year period, the county is roughly estimating we will get $120 million in revenue. So they're looking to go out to the market, obtain bonds for $60 million. If we participate with them, what will happen is we will get our 16.88% of that $60 million, which equates to roughly $10,128,000. We would get that as a lump sum, probably in April or May of this year when that goes in, so we could start capitalizing on market rates to do projects and not wait on that money to come in monthly.
Right.
But what that also does mean is when the county starts collecting the T-Splost, the first money out is to pay off that $60 million. So every city and the county that participates would wait until that $60 million is paid off to start getting the additional revenue, which they're projecting out to be at about 2.5 years. But that does allow us to go ahead and get a lot of projects done that we would normally have to wait 2 or 3 years to build that bank up to be able to do that. So the county would issue this debt in their name. This would not be debt in any of the city's names or anything like that. The county would take it on. You guys would have to approve this agreement to participate. And I can turn it over to Mr. Perkins as he helped work through this and has read this document. So.
The only thing I have to add is it is consistent with the original IGA that y'all approved back in 2023. I agree with everything Jonathan said.
Yeah, I think it's important that we get that money and go ahead and get these projects going and completed.
And also, yeah, to add to, even if we got them, I'm sure it wouldn't happen that way, but even if we got the money and put it in a bank account, this is one of those few funds you can put in and earn interest and not have to, as a city, you can actually earn interest on that money and just use it for the projects. You don't have to get that interest back. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Exley, a second by Mr. Scott to approve intergovernmental agreement between the city of Rankin and Effingham County for the purposes of acceptance of advanced T-Splost proceeds from the county bond issuance. Any other question or discussion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exley?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
All right, we're now into our administrative reports. Mr. Lynn?
Yes, sir. Just a few things before I kind of run through our task board over there. Sent an email out just the other day reminding everyone we had a request to have an all-hands staff meeting on Thursday morning, the 15th at 9 a.m. At Macomber Park, so I hope that everybody can be there. Every staff member that's available will be there. There'll be a few that have already got PTO scheduled, or they may be, working through the night. So we'll have 95% of our staff at that meeting. So we'll have them there. I want to remind you all in the public that we are not closed President's Day. It is a normal working day for us, so our offices will be open that day. We are starting next Tuesday and Wednesday. That's the 20th and 21st. We are starting the staff training for our Citizen Central app. So hopefully by first part of March, that app will be live and people will be able to start using it. We can do some really creative things with it. Terry and I played with it today a little bit. Citizens, one of the cool features when it's time, citizens will be able to go in and track the progress of our UDO. They'll be able to see when meetings are, what the updates are, how to take surveys. You can just click through this app to get to it, book your tea times, make a complaint, do an open records request, and then track how that's followed up on. Staff notes will go in there and the person that submits it can see it. We can publish them to the public. So we're very excited to get that going and move that forward. I did submit to you all as well. Last week we did receive the draft of our FY22 audit. So I will be working through some of the comments at the very end for those internal control comments that they put. And my intention is hopefully to have the auditor here to make that presentation to you all at your next meeting, to go forward so that can be adopted and we can get to the FY23 audit from one to the other. And then to just kind of go through the board really quickly, we don't have any progress to update you all on the Georgia Avenue, the alley there. We're still waiting on everything to get back and finalized so we can start the legal process on that. Picket fences update, there has been a few meetings. I'd like to actually discuss that with you all in executive session because it will deal with some property stuff. The Old Augusta Road City property, that court date is next week. We'll see how that turns out with the gentleman. New item is to the hiring of a clubhouse manager. We did post that job today. So we'll be able to kind of give you an update soon as to how that's working out. The RFP is out for city attorney services. The UDO did have some kickoff meetings last week with staff as well as the initials, I guess we'll call it steering committee for that one. Because there'll also be a separate stakeholder committee for that process. I'll let Terry, kind of jump in if she has anything to add on the comprehensive plan updates since we approved it tonight. So.
Right, nothing more than what I told you. We'll be giving you regular updates on that.
The full completion of Patriots Park in the process. The first steps are getting the sidewalk and the parking path in place. The advisory boards, we're still in the working on guideline stage. Hope to be presenting to the local government class at Georgia Southern's MPA program next Monday night, and that's where we're hoping to pull some of those people in looking to get their credits for their graduation in to help us work on those guidelines. Appointed the IDA candidate, that'll come off. We'll be able to check off the hospital board and hopefully by the next meeting get the public health board checked off as well. We now, as of tonight, have a full contingent of planning board members, and we're moving along. The next step, JC Park is ready to figure out a plan for it. So if anyone has any ideas on how they would like to move that forward, I ask you to send those to me and Shannon, because I am going to let Shannon run with that one.
I'm working on that.
All right, there we go, perfect.
Beautification is working on that.
Positive economic plan, we'll have the PUD to you guys at the next meeting, the first reading, or is that the first meeting in March, Terry? I'm sorry.
I think it's March.
First meeting in March at the latest for the first reading for that ordinance. I had a meeting with Tim, Tommy Key, and reps from EMC regarding getting the planning together to do the water reuse line at the golf course and start that process.
I want to ask you something on that. I know when we were at Atlanta, we talked to Marcus about that, and Marcus was saying that there's a lot of grants out there for water reuse right now. And I just, was wanting to put that out there to you. I know you've already thought about it. We talked about it, about having your assistant go after some grants or go see what we can get for that, because we may be able to pay for that up front. And also, Marcus had a really good recommendation on anything new being built. Go ahead and have them put the purple line in, and that way it's already there for future if we ever decide, once we ever get out of our neighborhood into more, we're
supposed to be putting it in now.
Yeah, I believe we have an ordinance.
So that's the one right now.
Tim's aware of that one.
Are they putting it in now, Tim?
So like Windsong 2, are they putting it in? Do you know?
I can find out. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Do we have an ordinance that says they're required to?
Pretty sure we do.
Yeah, we need to definitely go and check
We
it
got a
out.
definite, not a pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because that'll save you millions up the road if that becomes a big thing.
We're getting capacity. The thing is getting the capacity, and I think we've got to be careful how we commit and require if we don't have the capacity. So that's something we probably need to look at with this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that when we went to reuse the golf course, we changed our ordinance to make it mandatory. All new developments would be purple piped. So, we were hoping it'd be more used, but we haven't gotten to that
High
point.
commodity.
But
Yeah.
sooner or later we will.
And especially if there's grants for it, we can really start moving on that.
The water reuse, how does the, water reuse lessen the load on, because I know we only have a availability of about 260 more units with our wastewater right now, correct?
Yes, ma'am. So with that, with the reuse line, so say right now we have 100,000 gallons. Well, 100,000 gallons that comes into the treatment plant has to go out somewhere once it's treated. So that's what the permit is. So if we have 20 houses connected and they come up with 5,000 gallons, so now we're only being able to, charge 95,000 gallons to that credit, so to that permit. So it offsets that one for one.
So it will create that volume.
It will create, a gap. It will create more capacity. So the more people you get connected to that, it's just throughout the city, and there's meters. They can actually determine how much capacity is going. And you can, you can do a lot of stuff with the water coming out of the purple pipe. There's a lot of things you shouldn't do. Don't drink it. Don't bathe in it. But it's fine to,
Don't water produce with it.
Or you can water your grass with it. They do not encourage you to do.
Yeah, don't water your tomatoes or.
Yeah, so that's.
The primary purpose in it, when we started with it, was to stop the discharge in the Swaghofer Creek.
Right.
So that was the purpose in it.
You
It really didn't have anything to do with the capacity of the wastewater treatment plant. However, that's becoming an issue now.
It is now.
But initially, it was all done to stop the direct discharge.
You can do nice little fountains, like the one at the golf course. That's just, you can make it look nice. You just have to understand what the water is.
We talked about having a water park.
It's cooler about that now.
All right.
Has any consideration?
Sir, what's your name? Can you say your name?
My name is Tim Miller.
Can you come up? Thank you.
All right.
We'd like to see you.
Yeah, I know. Tim Miller. Has any consideration been looked at? There's over 500 homes in that community, and a lot of homes are using fresh water to water their lawns. And I know this has been kicked around, a few times, but I just want to ask if there's been any kind of discussion.
And that's that pilot. That's exactly what we're doing.
And that's the other side of it, not just the, Tim, not just what capacity we're creating at wastewater, but what we're saving from going in the ground, the
Right.
drinking water. It just takes on a lot whenever you.
And that goes back to Mr. Exley's wanting to get the grant money. That would help pay for the purple pipe to be laid throughout the city, to the neighborhoods that don't currently have it.
Tim, there's a lot of pieces to this, and have been for a number of years. The other advantage that we got is that we were able to, prior to having reuse, we had an agricultural well permitted out there. And so we were able to utilize the fact that we went to reuse to work with EPD to get some allowances for our permitting. So that was a good thing, that happened. Prior to that, there was an agricultural well. So, EPD is driving everyone, particularly in what we call the red zone, which is our area. Water permits are being reduced. They will continue to be reduced. We're all been put on notice to find alternate sources, alternate ways to adjust our draw from the aquifer. So that started all this years ago. Now, the reuse piece hasn't come along like we had hoped it would, but our vision was that initially it would start right at the golf course. That's where it is, and try to kind of go to the houses immediately along the golf course. And I still think that's the best course of action. However, it's still not that easy, and it's very costly. So it's all in discussion for a long time. It's been hard to implement, but it'll be resolved.
Yeah,
thank you.
Is that good for that one? We're starting, For all, bathrooms in Macomber Park, they're moved along quite well. They're waiting on the doors right now, and they'll finish out the interior of the bathrooms on the old side, and get that taken care of. And then the next step is to, kind of start the larger planning aspect of the park, from connecting sidewalks to starting with the aesthetics, painting some of the outsides of the buildings. And I know that we're gonna bring Ms. Loper up to speed on that, and let her run with the vision of council from there. So that, knowing what we know, that should not be a terribly long process once we get that moving as well. That should go pretty quickly once we get that plan together. The Parks and Rec master plan, it has not gone out to bid yet. Still got to get the draft of that going. I think once we get that vision from Macomber and understand, we can put that in and get that going. Personnel policy bids were due today. Job description, comp study, those bids are due on Wednesday, so we'll sit down and review those once we get them all in. Grant writer will be the assistant to the city manager position. Unfortunately, that person was sick over the weekend, so she has pushed her start date to tomorrow. So I'll have a better update on that. We'll bring her in and introduce her to you all at the next meeting. And that is all I have tonight, Mr. Mayor.
That personnel policy, compensation study, is that something that we go through? It's not just highlighting certain positions, it's every single position, right?
Every single position, they're even gonna update the job descriptions.
Like a reclass?
100%, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, perfect. And I think there was one other thing. No, I'll go ahead and skip it. It was just something for the park, and we can talk about it later.
Any questions for Mr. Lynn?
Did we talk about Macomber now?
Ma'am?
Did you want to talk about Macomber now, or wait till Shannon comes
We
up?
can wait, please.
All right, Police Department, Chief Merle.
Mayor and council, I don't have anything for you, but I'm available for questions.
Questions for Chief Merle? Young and zoning, Ms. Lewis.
So you probably noticed you did not receive a monthly report from planning and zoning. We will be getting that to you at your next meeting. As I let y'all know, we are transitioning between two softwares right now, and so we're reworking how we do that report. So you will have that at your next meeting. I do, since Tim Milner's here, I do want to say thank you to him. He was recently appointed to the Planning and Zoning Board, and at his very first meeting, accepted the position of chairman. So that was a really big help. So yes, and he's, come and done training with Lolly and I, and seems to be an enthusiastic chair. So we're very thankful that he stepped up to do that. So, and then we already talked about the UDO and the comp plan, but we'll be providing regular updates to y'all as those both move forward.
Terry.
Yes.
Just while you're there. And I know these are probably some things you've already heard, because we've talked about some of these. And we talked about them the other day when we were in that meeting with Effingham Green. Proximity codes. So you're working on that stuff.
Yes, we're working that in conjunction with our consultant that we've hired to update to write the UDO.
And could you just ponder in all that no gas stations ought to repair or anything like that near our creeks or waterways?
Okay.
Because of what they do. And then also with what we're dealing with some other things, nuisance clauses, odors. Odors is a big thing right now. Lights are a big thing right now.
Yes.
And smoke. And then also looking at fines as they apply to residential application, general commercial, and industrial.
Okay.
Because, an industrial person, like some of these industries, a $100 fine a day doesn't disturb them. A $5,000 fine a day does, but you can't do that to a residential person. So I'm just, while we're looking at all this, if we could look at that, and I'm sure that's some of the things you'll be addressing, so just wanted to mention those.
Okay.
I was gonna get with you, Dave, but you were running to a meeting.
That's okay.
So,
Any other questions for Ms. Lewis?
Thank you.
Public Works, Mr. Bowles.
How much you, Lou? I was waiting, you go ahead.
Submitted a written report. Over at Veterans Park, JC Veterans Park. We didn't clean out too awful much around the front there where the bricks are and the monument because of that root system in there. Didn't want to disturb those brick. So once y'all decide to what you're gonna do with that park, those bricks will probably have to be removed and replaced after it's been derooted. Pretty much everything else is cleaned up over there except for a couple of stumps that's tied up into the fence. I didn't want to tear the fence down, so.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, any questions for Mr. Bowles? All right, Fire Department, Chief Reed.
I don't have anything. I'm available for any questions. I submitted my report.
Question for Chief Reed. Recreation, Ms. Loper.
Well, I don't have a report, but I can give a few updates. We've got a couple of bids, a contractor that's coming out for the repair of the bathrooms at McCumber. Apparently, they're having some issues with the flushing, so they're gonna come out and do the repairs on that.
The new side.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. The new side.
Wow.
We've done some small improvements to the actual building. Replaced the shot window, got replaced. Hung some curtains to hide all the junk, the tables and stuff. We've got the guy that came out and did the field evaluation, so we're waiting on that report to come back. All of the locks have been ordered to replace all the locks throughout the city, on the gates, the lights and stuff, because we've been having issues with them just mysteriously coming on. So we just decided to replace them all. We are in the process, it's actually coming along really well for a new website that will be much more user-friendly. The coaches will be able to go in, pick their sport. It'll tie into the new software that we're working on, where the standings will be posted. Parents, coaches, everyone can see it every week. The schedules will be posted, everyone can see every week. Practice schedules will be posted, rentals will be posted. And so that'll all tie in together so that, they can see it. I spent most of the day, to tell you how desperate I am on this this software. I spent 8 hours today calculating birth dates for all of the participants because the current software doesn't do that. So that was very,
In Ms. Loper's defense, we have ordered the new software.
yes, yes.
Now that software is called?
Rec Desk.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Same thing
great.
that the county uses, right?
Mhm.
Good.
Can they make electronic payments?
They can. And on top of the electronic payments, there's also a point of sale module on there so that with the concession stands, all the inventory will be done. People can buy out of that and we can take out of that. And all of that will be done with credit cards as well. So that there'll be even less
What a
cash
great
at the
plan.
concessions.
Wow, that's
Card,
awesome.
not cash.
Yes.
With the electronic payments, say like when you make a deposit for equipment or for the rec center and you don't use it, will you be able to refund those deposits
We will.
electronically?
We will.
So there wouldn't be as many checks issued?
Correct, yes, we can actually go
That's
in
the savings
ourselves
too, yeah.
and it'll go,
Not
the
much.
deposit will go in and it'll go back out without having to do that. Yeah,
Much better.
yes.
So you mentioned concessions and inventory and all of that doing electronic payments. Will they still have the ability at a game to pay with cash?
They will, yeah, they
That
will.
little
But
kid.
the program will still track it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They will actually come up and pay with cash, but with the iPads, they will actually put in what they've
Track the
done.
inventory
Yeah,
and we
and it'll
should
go
know
in
how
as
much cash
cash,
we should
correct, exactly.
And then your cash receipts want to equal your deposit receipts.
Correct, yes, there's reports, and it actually dumps right into the city software so that the deposits go right in.
Nice.
And then last is, the tennis court lights. You may have gotten some complaints about that. The part, it was obsolete, so we finally found a company that's in the process of ordering that to get those fixed.
I had something for you. Mona and I have discussed getting the picnic tables powder coated, and sandblasted and powder coated.
Okay,
This is
hold on.
the company, or a company that's local that I've used before.
Okay.
And those are the requirements they need. Measurements and pictures, and then they can give you a quote.
Okay, and which, picnic tables? Because sometimes,
It's the ones in the old section.
sometimes it's cheaper just to replace it. They're not that expensive.
I thought they were like 5,000 piece.
No, they're far from 5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Yeah, they're not
We're
that
designing our
expensive.
ballpark.
So, yeah.
I guess before we jump too far into this.
They're actually these
Yeah.
that I'm talking about.
So, you know, the city through Parker's did benches and trash cans, and actually Sherry and Zone and Planning told me, oh, we did Bobcat Blue. And I said, I never thought about that, it's freaking Bobcat Blue. So we just in discussion these 2 weeks, when we spent so much time together in Atlanta, said, why don't we have an official city color? And our official city color can be Bobcat Blue. So we went so far, and we thought it would be fun for our kids, it would show some camaraderie with our schools. And so I even talked to Miss Hannah, the principal at Rincon, and she's willing to come next week if we want to do a little resolution, have a few Bobcats, 2 weeks, 26th, and we'll do a resolution to adopt our city colors, Bobcat Blue, if council approves that. But we thought it'd be a fun thing to do with our kids, but we want to send that color through what we do, and we just need new trash cans, Shannon. I looked at those when I was out there. But we can get our picnic tables powder coated.
They're not expensive.
So,
They're probably cheaper to buy new ones.
so anyway, but this is the board, I'm just gonna pass it around so people can see. Start with council, the colors. We're gonna do some easy fix with the post out there because they're so old.
Yeah.
These are our trash cans and those are your colors. And everything we're doing is really, that they'll be doing out there is gonna be aesthetic stuff. There's really no rebuilding.
So that's the exact blue that we have on our park benches and
Yeah, on Fort Howard and 21.
wasn't there supposed to be some covers for those?
So as you go through Rincon and the.
We have one
Start seeing
one
our
bus
little blue
shelter.
pop up.
We
Need
have
some of the
one.
golf course, guys.
I think it's going on Fort Howard
Need
Road,
some-
right?
Is that where it's going?
That's where it's gonna go, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic on that side over there.
Well, we gonna be.
And that's gonna be in the same color code.
Yeah, we've already got them. We've already, Parker's.
Figure out, I can do it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. All right.
Very
I'd just like to add that
exciting.
the PD is a couple of years ahead of y'all, because we've already got our blue line around the building.
Is it Bobcat blue? If it's not Bobcat blue.
You know what Bobcat blue is?
So what Chief doesn't know is that
Handicap blue.
the next uniforms we authorize to approve are gonna be Bobcat blue.
But if mayor, if
Back to
council
blue.
is okay with that we adopt us an official color.
That's like really want the stuff to adopt. Everything's already blue.
Mayor, does a motion need to be made?
We can't do it tonight, we have to form the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It will be on the agenda with the 26th meeting.
Yeah.
26.
If there's no objection.
So when they can come in, we can go ahead.
And then you all can present them with a resolution.
Who's bringing the Bobcat?
Now, we can get a Bobcat here,
Ma'am.
Are we live one or?
not a real one,
Live one or the one that
a
Tim?
mascot.
Hey,
All right.
like the one you use.
Did anyone have any other questions for Ms. Loper?
I'd take it, make it like do donuts and you.
Ms. Loper, thank you for
Thank you.
coming on board and getting to work. We needed it.
All right, Rankin Golf Course.
Yes, sir.
I have two small things I'd like to mention.
Come up here.
Joe. We're all family here by now. We actually got the bathroom back open on 15. And Tim's gonna help me move the other one up over to 5 and
hopefully get that one open pretty soon also.
I have
Speaking of that,
pictures, I have pictures.
the bathroom, the puddle that was always there in front of it, has that been solved?
There's a sprinkler head that was broke, and what happened when they put the porta potty in, they ran it over. So we're waiting until they move the porta potty, and we'll repair the sprinkler
Because
head.
it never dried up. Even
No.
in the driest July, it never dried up.
That's right. It's a small leak right there.
Okay. I
But we're
figured
not
that's what it
gonna
was, but-
mess with it till the porta potty's gone.
Okay, Joe, thanks.
The other thing I want to mention is the pump station. The PM pump hadn't been running, so this will help with the effluent water also. So we got that fixed, so we're back up to full pressure on the pump station now. So anything we add to it shouldn't be an issue.
Very nice.
We were actually running off of 2 pumps for I don't know how long instead of 3.
Are
So
we able to meter accurately what we're putting on the dock?
we are. It has it right on the screen, easy to get to, and I'm taking numbers every couple days when I run
We
anything.
need to see those reports.
Yeah. Okay.
Those reports typed up, you can email them to Jonathan, whenever you need me to.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
Look at you.
Well, I've already told Larry, thank you, but I want to tell you.
Larry did an amazing
Oh,
job.
he's fabulous.
Yes.
And we couldn't have done all that we've done over there without him.
Yeah.
And what you've done since you've come on board, I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
know, it's not ladylike to use the bathroom in the woods, but sometimes you have to.
I wouldn't have used the porta potties.
Yeah.
They were bad.
I refuse to use the porta potty, I refuse, sorry. So I'm very excited because I love golfing out
Good.
there, so thank you.
Thank y'all.
I want to add one other thing. Of course, I try my best to stay off of social media as much as I can. But, you know, got to give you some credit, man. Everybody's out there talking about, you know, greens and different things like that. Just go look at their yard. I mean, nothing is turning green right now. So you kind of got to use your head a little bit before you make comments.
Yes, sir.
But I really appreciate what you're doing.
And there's reasons why I do stuff and why I don't, and I could break it down and talk to y'all for an hour about that, but I won't keep y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anything from council members?
So Mayor and Council, I do have something. I've done a little bit of research over the last couple of weeks about what approval levels are appropriate for a city manager. And in tonight's agenda alone, we had we had 6 items that I feel like should have never come before council. I believe that our city manager's threshold in our policies is too low. The norm for a city manager to be able to approve is $20,000. I think that it was set so low during a time when the city didn't have money, but the city is not running into a bankruptcy situation at this time. I think we need to be flexible and look at the dollar threshold that Jonathan is allowed to approve. I think that dollar amount should be $20,000. That's the dollar amount that is normal for city managers operating in cities of our size. One of the things that sparked this research was speaking to the police chief, and if they need a new radio, that radio is $7,000. These guys have to have that to do their job. We're slowing our city down because that threshold is too low. Jonathan should absolutely be able to approve a $7,000 radio so that the police can do their job and then not have to wait 2 weeks to come before us to approve. So I feel like we really are slowing our city down entirely.
And if it's budgeted.
If it's budgeted, it makes no sense.
I'm fine with an email just saying, hey, you know, we're spending this $6,500 or whatever, you know?
If it's a budgeted line item, 6 items alone tonight came before us that were budgeted and were less than the $20,000. I feel like we're slowing ourselves down. And honestly, I'd like to make a motion to up the limit. It's not in a ordinance, it's actually part of a policy.
It's
So I
not
feel
an
like we can do
agenda
that.
item, you have to put it on the agenda.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda.
Next
for
meeting.
next meeting.
Very well done.
The council do have that authority to do that, and I think we've done it once, sent people in, right?
We did
We didn't up my spending limit, we upped the bid threshold.
the bid
what?
threshold, that's.
We upped the bid threshold.
That's another one I'd like to discuss. Our bid threshold's not in line with the state. State bid thresholds to go out for bid are 100,000 or more. Ours is set at 30. We're sending stuff out to bid and not getting any traction. We're slowing ourselves down by months.
Well, that's up to council to come back and make that
Okay.
adjustment. That's what makes it.
Okay.
But we gotta make it, we gotta have it on an agenda item in order to act.
I think we should put both of those on our agenda item and follow at least, at a minimum, what the state's doing.
Well, if we can figure out, well, the state, I think if we could find out what, like you said, what cities our size are doing. I think the state would normally have a bigger.
Cities our size are
I
following.
don't know if the state is a good judge of
Right.
what we need to be doing, but a comparable city
Comparable cities is what I
would be a
Yeah,
good.
but you have to be careful when you say comparable city, because everything that you do at that golf course that you order is $20,000. You know what I mean?
Most cities our size don't own golf courses.
Right, so my point is that stuff's got to come back and forth. And what that stuff is, and I've seen emails from that, over the past few years, where you had, part-time superintendent sending emails about, hey, I need to get this, I need to get this. And it's just constant questions, you just ask them when we need it. It's all time-based stuff. So he has to have that when he needs it, and it needs to come from Mr. Lynn. It's
Right,
not something
in a
that.
courtesy email.
In a courtesy email, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, if you guys want me, if you guys are okay with it, I can just put that on it and just address one of those in an agenda item with the,
I want to address them both.
like, I'm still double do them together unless you want to do them separately.
I think they should be separate.
Okay.
Separate line
Let's do
items.
separate.
So
Yeah.
two, but I want to
actions.
address them at the same meeting.
Yeah, we'll put, I can put them both on the next agenda.
Next agenda, okay, perfect. I have just a couple things. One, our community engagement, I wanted to make sure that we get on track to try to do that in March at some point, if we can. I'd like to be able to explain it. Maybe I explain it in an email instead of doing it in, because it's a lot. So maybe I can go through in an email and maybe send a video with that so that we can kind of see how that works. Also, I wanted to address our, just a little bit of our conversation. I'm not gonna get into a lot. We can talk about most of it later, our conversation with the IDA, with Bro. And I absolutely think, just if we have, if we have something going there with Mr. Sharpley, we need to move forward with it and start that project.
Absolutely.
I don't think we look back. I think we just keep moving forward and get these projects started as quick as possible.
Yes, sir.
That's all I've got. Oh, I'm sorry. Right lane only for trucks. How do we get that?
We've reached out to Ben and Bobo to make sure that we're doing that right. And then I don't know if they're still, I'm sorry, do we need to do an ordinance form, or can we use the state, our only 2-lane road, 4-lane road is 21.
Right.
If we can just piggyback on what the state.
Well, I noticed that, like, there were some places this weekend, some small towns I went through that had their ordinance posted on a sign for engine brakes for trucks.
The Jake brakes, yeah.
So it was posted that you couldn't activate those coming through a city. And if that is an ordinance that we need to do, I would like to add that ordinance, because that's something that happens here. And I'd also like to do right lane only. I know that having a truck route is legislative, because you have to change mapping and truck routes and things like that, and I get that.
That's not what we're looking for.
No, but
We
I
just
think,
wanna keep them
but
in
I
the
think
right
we
line.
can move them over, and it can speed up the process. Plus, I think what it does is it may force some drivers. I know if it was me, I have a CDL. If it was me, I would want to take the route around. I would not want to come through here and stop at every red light. And anytime you post some of those ordinances up, it normally deters those trucks from, going around, they get around the city instead of going through.
Okay.
That's all.
So when we first initially started talking about this, I was told that we didn't need an ordinance for it because it was already basically a law in Georgia that trucks needed to remain in the right-hand lane. then it was made that, well, we needed to post signs about it. But if it's a law in Georgia, why do I need to post signs about it?
So it's on a state highway, that should be, I feel better about enforcing it if we get the signs up. And if we're gonna put the signs up on a state highway, that's gotta be done by DOT.
Okay.
We will have a plan for you written down.
Well, if DOT's gonna do it, it
Well,
won't get.
why don't we feel comfortable enforcing something that's a state law?
I'll be honest with you, I wanna read that law, because I do, most of those laws like that require signage. And I don't recall specifically.
Like radar.
Okay, so we're not comfortable because we don't fully understand that law and we haven't looked at it, I think is what we're saying.
It also gives you a little more teeth in the prosecution of those.
Right.
Whether it's mentioned in the code section or not,
Okay,
it still will give you a little more teeth in the prosecution of that.
okay.
I'm sorry, I'll look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to have something, some kind of answer by the 26th, right?
I'll have.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll add that to the board.
Thank you.
I have a few things. First, let me state that I've spoke to y'all, I think at the last meeting, about 9th Street and lighting and crosswalks. If anybody's been down 9th Street, they know we've got sidewalks going down one side and it's gonna switch and be on the other side. But I've had several people tell me that you cannot see pedestrians on 9th Street. And Sonny and I going to my daughter's the other night, I almost hit a man.
You can't.
You cannot see anybody. I would like to, and I don't know who takes this on, to go ahead and look at 9th Street. It might be we need to get Lou and the chief checking that out at night to see these dark spots on these roads where we need some street lights.
Lighting.
But we need crosswalks that get people from non-sidewalk side to sidewalk side badly on 9th Street, and encourage them to stay in the sidewalks. I don't know if we can say, I don't want to go out there and ticket people for not being in the sidewalks, but
I don't know that you can do that.
but I mean, it's scary out there because you cannot see, and people, that guy was walking on the line of the road and there was a car coming, and I had to slam on brakes because I couldn't swerve over. And,
Was he wearing black?
all black. The only thing we saw was this Parker bag, a little white plastic bag in his hand. So scared me to death, but if we could, Jonathan, get the appropriate departments on that, start looking at that. Someone's reported the same issue on Weisenbaker Road.
I guess Chief's got something.
Oh, go ahead, I'll talk.
Okay, and then also, St. Andrews. That road's getting a lot more traffic due to the golf course.
It is very dark.
And, but it's daylight too, it's a very busy road. I know that Matt's here, Matt's wife, I believe, got hit by a car there.
On St. Andrews?
On St. Andrews.
Hit and run.
Yeah, it was hit and run, got hit
Rolled
by.
up on the hood and then rolled off and got hit by the rear view mirror, walking the dog.
And, so it's getting crazy in there, and now we're gonna have probably a busy restaurant in there. So the same thing, we need to investigate that and what we can do there.
Speed bumps, maybe?
We've got, sidewalk.
Because we don't have sidewalks in.
I've been noticing since I talked to Matt, because Matt called while we were at GMA, and I went back out and talked to Ben, and Ben, I think you were there, we all talked about it. I noticed, because I'm in there in the mornings and afternoons, you've got a lot of kids walking that area too. So we just need to get the right departments investigating these and see what we can do and what the answers might be, and start that, if we could, Jonathan. All three
So
of
the
those.
lighting on 9th Street, are there street lights there and they're just not on?
No,
or
there's some
not?
big sections, 9th Street, that's absolutely dark as pitch.
Usually they've only got them at intersections of the streets. It's just like 21, you've only got lights on 21, most of them are at the intersections.
Georgia Power help us with that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, with Georgia Power, if we can get them to upgrade some of those lights,
That'll help because they'll upgrade onto LEDs.
They might be able to.
That's one.
So you're saying-
They have a program where they will come out and upgrade your old lights.
There's
Can't see it.
All of them need to be upgraded.
There's a large segment of 9th Street with no lights at all. And
Yeah,
I think
there's
it's
spots out
Howard,
there.
from Howard Avenue.
Georgia
Damn.
Power has a swap out exchange program. They'll come and do it all for free. I have to look into it and get that information, but I'll
But
come
they're
back.
Probably even got a
backlogged, they're
program where they can
backlogged on their
survey.
LED lights.
Yeah.
And
Tim,
Tim
can
does
they do
that.
Georgia Power do a, light survey on
They
Ninth
do a
Street?
light survey and
See what's
make a
recommended.
recommendation for light. Or a city engineer can probably. do it.
Probably, yeah, the MC can too.
Georgia Power's not gonna have-
But we really need to look at that. I know that even if we can do a sidewalk on one side and, like we do on 9th Street and just encourage pedestrians to stay on their sidewalks, to stay safe. I know that St. Andrews is inside a subdivision, but it's also where public is going through their subdivision to get to our golf course. So that's a little bit of a different situation. And if we're gonna have a very active restaurant situation in there, it's gonna increase traffic.
There could be some liability for us on that.
Yeah, so we need to,
Well, maybe have one running from the city to the golf course, but not throughout.
no, it would just be to
No, this is just that main road.
St. Andrews, yeah, just like St. Andrews.
Jonathan, can
Most of
you
those
make a
streets in
project
there have
and get that
sidewalks, all
information and try to
except
put
the
it
old
together for us?
Willowpeg subdivision.
Yeah.
I guess in the back.
Yeah, can
Back
you,
then, they didn't require sidewalks.
Yeah, I hadn't seen much that don't have it other than that St. Andrews and that Willowpeg.
So what we can do is we can price it out. I think there's gonna be, and I'm just gonna be that person, because that's what I'm here for. There's probably gonna be a significant cost to doing that, because we would also have to pipe things and cover them, because there's not a lot of room on either side between the drainage areas. So I think getting it priced out and getting the engineers to look at that. Now, do you want me to look at St. Andrews down Willowpeg all the way to the golf course, or just stop it at right there where St. Andrews and Willowpeg start, like that?
I think you need two options, at least do St. Andrews and then look at the,
Why are you looking at Willowpeg?
I just said do two options, look at St. Andrews first.
That takes you
and
to
then
the golf course.
To get connected.
St. Andrews,
Whatever
it
takes you to the course.
Yeah, that would take pedestrians and even golf carts to,
Well,
Now,
and people
if
could
we're
ride their
looking at, you
bike.
want it to be a golf cart wide
No.
path, I mean, I think that, then we're getting into right away.
No, because if you do that, that's where everybody's riding.
Yeah.
we need
That'll be
a
a
sidewalk
mistake.
at least on one side of St. Andrews.
That's right, then we'll be talking about
If
that.
it's big enough for golf cart, you're gonna have problems there. You're
Oh,
gonna have the golf cart running over the
They
pedestrian.
already have them on Fort
We
Howard
will-
doing that now.
I'll start working it and get you guys the options and prices
Did you
for
say
discussion.
something?
Do you wanna talk about any on that?
My name is Matt Huntley. Kind of like Ms. Mona said, I live on St. Andrews. It is a speedway. I know Chief and them do their best, but they can't have all their patrolmen in Lost Plantation all the time. And it really has become a hazard. There's mailboxes hit there several times throughout the year. I just sent one to Miss Mona the other day. Our next victim, we call it, but it's, if you get on the Facebook HOA page, it's known as St. Andrews Speedway, for anybody that's been on there. And it has become dangerous just within our four house radius of us. I mean, there's 12, 14 kids right there that play in the yard daily. So it's just become a safety issue for all of us.
Is there any side roads there, Matt, in between those areas?
Not from, what's the front road?
So where the
Not from
public course,
Lochner to, yeah. The only way to get to the golf course is in St. Andrews and down Willowpeg. I mean, that's the only way to get to the golf
And that's
course.
the straight shot.
where the
That's
city
everybody-
has their sign posted, where it says public course, would be the second entrance, would be St. Andrews to Willowpeg. So the signage is there from the city to show it, so St. Andrews to Willowpeg is the concern.
Well, I think low,
And when you start looking at it, I mean, we hope that there's 25 foursomes on a Saturday morning, at least, we hope. Golfers typically drive by themselves. That's 100 cars, that's 200 cars going by my house every Saturday morning. Not to mention the trash trucks, the delivery trucks, the beer trucks, the traffic in and out of the restaurant. I mean, it's just getting busier and busier.
Which is great for the city.
It is.
You know, it goes back to infrastructure, you know, building that before you,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So now it's.
Well, and I will say this, as someone who drives a middle school and elementary school bus, I have more people run my bus stop sign on St. Andrews than any other road in Los Plantations.
There's people that don't touch their brakes at that three-way stop right there.
Well, why don't we have, speed bumps?
You don't want speed bumps.
Just be
We want speed humps, yeah, I don't think you want speed bumps, but speed humps.
And not the one that's about 4 feet wide.
Right, you can go 25 easily over a speed hump.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say that we've had that discussion again about many areas in the city over the years. And you go down that road, everybody is gonna come with speed bumps.
That's right.
Yeah.
You start it, everybody in the city is
Well,
gonna want speed bumps.
yeah, and one thing I've learned about speed bumps too is it's not great for fire and rescue. So you have to be real careful. It's a fine line. It's more of, just like there was some residents talking about picket fences when you guys left the other day. And I said, no, you know, speed bumps is probably not the way to go because they have side streets coming in. Stop signs are the way to go there. And the guy where we were sitting in front of, he said, man, I wish we could have a stop sign right here. And I thought, how hard is it to put a stop sign in there?
Yeah. Don't we have some problems? We gotta be careful with the speed bumps.
It's not bumps, it's humps. There's a big difference.
It is my understanding the reason why council, part of the reason why council has avoided it in the past, and it's a thing, especially in residential areas without curbing, is you'll force cars
To go around.
They'll start driving around them.
and then you got yard damage and it's.
Drainage issues, because it's
Creates
drainage on
more
each
problems,
side.
yeah.
Well, and I think,
I definitely think sidewalks are the first step. And my kids don't ride the bus. I'm fortunate enough to be able to drop them off at school, but Miss Mona can tell you when the kids get off the bus, they are in the ditch on St. Andrews.
well, and there's a man, and I don't know if his hedges are not in the easement, but you've got kids that have to, they're at Willowpeg. Do y'all know where Willowpeg dead ends in St. Andrews and it goes into his driveway? His hedges come out to the road and the kids can't walk on the grass. They have to come out into the road
Mr. White.
to go around his hedges to get around to their house.
They're very well maintained, but they do come to the road.
Is that at the three-way stop?
Yes.
There's
We can
also
make
an
them
ordinance
move 'em.
against blocking views from the,
We
when you're at a stop sign.
we
so
can
you
handle
see.
that with the HOA.
Vegetation.
So,
Thank you.
Tim Miller.
Thank you.
Thank
I am the
you.
president of the Willowpeg HOA. I sent a letter out today to some constituents in the room explaining that next meeting I would like to be Mr. Matt Huntley and myself be put on the agenda to talk deeper about this subject. I know it's getting late, but I feel that we can come to some kind of resolution. The important thing about what you said was, this is a city access street that goes to a golf course and it goes right through our neighborhood. And that's why I feel that it's concerning, because it is a city function. And Mr. Huntley's asked me about this well over a year ago, and there's nobody in this room who I contacted about it. I had no idea how our government worked at the city, but that person pretty much just laughed at me saying, there's no way it's gonna happen. So I feel we can come to some kind of resolution that's going to able everybody to be at peace with this. So thank you very much. But I will submit that for the agenda for next meeting.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Anything else from council members? All right, we have a need for an executive session.
Yes, sir.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Who said it?
Hey, one last thing I want to say, I am thrilled what this council is doing. Everybody in this room is doing fantastic. Absolutely. The buzz around the city is phenomenal.
Thank you.
There's a motion by Mr. Blackwell, second by Mr. Dixon, to go into executive session. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Mr. Exton?
Yes.
Mr. Blackwell? Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.